Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today.
Now carried it in back into goal.
That was a beautiful passing play right there, Sean.
What a save! Woo! Talk about a move.
Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me is a very special guest. I have Ken Maese. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
I'm pretty sure I kind of butchered that name a little bit, but I think I got it right on.
I think we'll allow it. Yeah, you did a pretty good job.
It was close. So you represent the Blood and Feathers pro teams throughout NARCH, throughout the roller season. Tell us a little bit about that, how many teams you guys actually have, and we'll go from there.
Great. Yeah. So, Epic LABEDA Blood and Feathers, we actually started out as a LABEDA Blood and Feathers. We've been a program for approximately 3 years now. This is only our second year competing in the pro division. We started out as a gold level team, but had our first success at an NARCH regional in Colorado. And from there, we kind of had some exponential growth and kind of catapulted, onto the scene. I think moved through the platinum and AAA divisions at a number of tournaments. We love NARCH quite a bit. It's one of our favorite tournaments, and so they've actually been pretty instrumental on and kind of helping to develop our program. But we partnered up with Ram Churma and with LABEDA. And he kind of took us under his wing. He's been a wonderful sponsor. The first year, really patient. And we had our ups and downs as a program. But then I think we really kind of turned a corner moving into the when we decided we wanted to make the jump to the pros in our second year. We had a really great turnout at Winter Wars East. We had a top 4 finish there. From there, we had a second place finish at SummerSlam for State Wars. That was a State Wars event. I was also at the time a qualifier into the Palma Pro Invitational, which, as a first year pro team, we really thought that was something special to experience that sort of event. We also had a great regional turnout. We had 2 teams play there. Are under the platinum division and the gold division in Parker, Colorado for NARCH, and we won both those events. Yeah, and then we had a fairly great finish for a first year team at State Wars that year. I believe it was a something like I think we finished in the somewhere in maybe 10th out of 12 teams, which is not bad, all things considering.
Yeah,
our teams are relatively comprised of a lot of really great talented guys and women, and all of them are either amateurs, ex D1, ex ACHA players, SPHL players. We've got just kind of a melting pot of talent, or XD1 roller players too. So it's really kind of neat. I would say that like we've been very fortunate in the success we've had thus far, and I think this year we partnered up with Epic alongside LABEDA, which Dan Costa has just been phenomenal. I mean, it's just
I love Dan.
he is a beauty and a half,
Yeah.
certified. I'll tell you what, and he has really embraced us with open arms, and I think between him and Rob, I think. I would say that like I attribute a lot of the success we've had this season to a lot of that support that they've given us. This year we went back to Winter Wars East and improved upon the top 4 finish. We were in the championship game. Fortunately, we lost to a really good Black Ice team, taking second place. But since then, we've really been trying to get up some traction. We earned this year an invitation into the Palma Pro Invitational, which unfortunately is why we had to make some decisions here about not coming out to NARCH this year. The guys were pretty disappointed, but it was a scheduling thing for us more than anything else. But our women are competing there. We're very excited about that.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your women's pro team and who they are, because it's first, not necessarily first I'm hearing of it, but our audience on the side that this podcast will probably hit the most doesn't get a chance to hear too much about the California teams out that way.
Yeah, that's a really great question. And first and foremost, I'd have to say, like when I started this program, it was largely based on the fundamental idea that that there is a belief that there is not a lack of talent out there in the roller world, but more so a lack of pro teams to support them. And I always thought to myself, hey, like if ever I had an opportunity to put something together, I would make sure to really kind of develop the women's roller hockey alongside the men. And I think that's something I've really prided myself in this program. And I think something that, Dan and Rob have really championed alongside me and kind of echo this philosophy, but like wanting to have across the board what we do for the men, we do for the women. Now that said, we've got some really, really wonderful athletes playing for us and our women's team. For NARCH this year, 2 really great goaltenders, Lauren Estengo, Ashlyn Ayeo, just both really phenomenal talents, and we're really, really fortunate to have them on the team. We also are going to have Reagan Miller, D1, University of Vermont. We also will have Sam Levins. Sam has been kind of pretty well known in the roller community. She's an athlete who's competed with Team Canada, Tour Road Runners. So she's a very seasoned roller player, and I mean, just really fun to watch. And also just a really great person off the rink. I got to tell you, she's wonderful. Tori Pizzuto will be joining us, who was just actually on loan over to the Cavs from Columbia at Tours, and she had a really great showing out there.
Nice.
Yeah, she helped bury their championship game winner, and I think she also the game winner in the semis that launched them to the championship game. I think she won MVP too. So we're excited to have her with us. And there's some younger players, Brooke Weller. She's a young talent too. I think she's a junior USA. Rachel Buser. She's been a core member from the beginning since we started the women's program 2 years ago. And she's a great defenseman, just a real shutdown girl. And then we're also joined by Malia, and I always butcher this last name, but Shima Bakuro, who I actually met in Omaha, Nebraska, playing in a house league. She was playing with men and just undressing them. Right? So I immediately was like, hey, I think you got to come aboard and play with us. And then, of course, we had a late addition, Kim Mel, by referral, and we're really excited to have her there too. So just a really good group of girls, and I think more than anything, we're just excited to see what they do this year at finals.
Yeah, so is this their first event together, or has there been
go for it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. Or had there been a couple other tournaments that they've been able to participate in?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So at the beginning of the year, there was a NARCH regional that took place,
Okay.
and we sent our women's team out there. And I'll tell you, they were just really fired up. We took a short bench. I think we had 6, 7 girls out there, and that was their first go around with this team this year. Our women's team has undergone some rebuild since the first year we started. I think we were looking to adjust the culture a little bit on that team, and kind of find some identity. And I think this year, the first tournament of the year we had at NARCH out in February. It was the first opportunity the women had to play together as a team and really kind of come together and get some cohesion. Great turnout. They ended up winning, I believe, of the women's gold division. But they had some very good games against some very top level pro teams, and we entered under as a pro team. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like the way it got split, we ended up playing for I think the gold championship, which we were really happy with, and it was a really big accomplishment for our ladies. And so we've kind of taken that momentum and we've carried it forward with us, and we're really excited to get the girls back out here at finals. So.
Awesome. So now your team just participated in tours just past weekend. Probably not the results you guys were looking for. It was a tough go around for you guys, but you guys played some tough competition. Yeah,
it's so funny. I joke around a little bit here and there with some of the boys and some of the coaches on the team, and tours. We always feel like we're a little bit snake bit. Last couple of years we've been there. In fact, funny thing is our schedule this year was the exact same schedule we had last year, which was just like blown away. I think a lot of the guys are anticipating maybe a little change in the mix. But given the 13 teams that we're going to be in this year, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And for us, this team is we're built very gritty. And one thing I've always just been really impressed by is the attitude and the effort on all the guys. We're not so much of a team that really thinks about the ends justifying the means. We're really more so about the journey, and we feel like if you want to be the best, you've got to play against and beat the best. So any given day, we're willing to play anybody you want to put in front of us. So I think we had some. Well, it wasn't the result we were looking for. We did take a short bench, 8 guys out to that event, but I was very proud of the way that the boys played, and a lot of the boys. We had a 3-0, loss to Car Shield, very, very good Car Shield team. The boys hung tough there. They had a very deep bench, some great players, and with Adam Earns, and they're very well coached as well. And then, obviously our Black Ice game got away from us a little bit, for some reason. That tends to happen to us sometimes when we play them. I think, maybe some boys were a little tired in that game. I don't know. Maybe they stayed out a little later the night before, or I don't know what was going on with that game. But then a great 3-2 game against, again, a very well coached LABEDA team, Golden Knights. And anytime you play Rob's program, you've always got to be on your toes. And so, because they won State Wars last year. What can you say? I think for us on the schedule, between the 3 major teams we played, Black Ice, Car Shield, and Palma, I was joking with the boys. I was telling them, I said, between all 3 of them, last year, altogether, they won NARCH finals, tours, and State Wars. So,
right. Yeah. It's tough when you're playing literally the champions of each of those events,
right.
And Car Shield, they ended up losing to Tour Roadrunners. I've got Corey Hodge coming on the pod on Thursday.
Oh, nice. Corey's great guy.
Yeah, he's a great kid. I played against him when he was living in Michigan for a hot minute there for a while. And,
sure.
And then when Etan made the trip over to Chicago to help us out, we got a chance to play with him for a little bit. So,
I just think it's great to be able to get these boys out. Our team is comprised with players from all over the country. I mean, we stem everywhere from California, New York, Colorado, Florida, Arizona, Chicago. I mean, you name it. It's like have stick will travel, and I think that's the kind of the really. I guess I don't want to say unique, but it's something that I think has really been kind of fun to watch the way the team's kind of developed, because everybody's bringing a little bit of different style into the mix. I think can't forget Texas too.
Yeah.
But and so we love the idea of playing teams from from coast to coast.
Right.
You go to the East, they play a very gritty, very very tough, a hard game. Very physical. You come out to the West Coast, and it's just hands and skill and speed, right?
Yep.
So I think that kind of exposure, whenever we get a chance, to get in front of it on the rink, you know what I mean, is good for us, and it only makes us better. And in fact, I would argue that it's led to a lot of the success we've had thus far, and it's going to continue to pay dividends. So.
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the things that I noticed too, is that you guys are a very speedy team, and your penalty kill was really good. You guys were 80%,
right,
over that past weekend. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was four losses, but they were tough, hard fought battles. Except like you said, the black ice one got away from you, but still, you came out there and you took the number two, the team that was the runner up. You lost to them by I believe it was 1 or 2 goals.
Right.
Same with Pama, or Palma. They again 1 goal, and they took. I think they were 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
So I mean, so nothing to hang your heads up. I mean, you guys are right there. Like a missed opportunity, or a one bounce, one lucky bounce going one way or the other, and it's a whole nother ball game for you guys. So
I think I think you kind of put the nail on the head there. A lot of times there's puck luck has a lot to play into it. We really preach around here when it comes to our pro players, discipline, making good decisions, good heads up hockey. We like to keep it very simple, in terms of the style that we play, and we like to protect our own end first. That's the most important thing. Everything starts in our own end. So, for us, we weren't too surprised when it came to, looking at an 80%, PK. Our boys like to eat pucks. We're not afraid to get in front of things, and so we were really impressed with that. And like you said, that's one of the positive takeaways on the weekend. And there were others for sure. Like we've got great leadership on the team. Our captain Devin Brink is just, I'll tell you, he's just a class act. He comes out of the Southern Pro League, and we've been really really happy with the kind of poise and the positive way that he's really taken a lot of the boys and brought them along, and made us just more of a tighter unit. And so but we've got, like I said, we've got a number of really really good players on that team as well, and we're pretty excited for I'd probably say the future of what we've got going on here, especially given, if you look at it, we're 2 years in, second time we're coming back to the Palma Pro Invitational, and listen, we set the expectations pretty high. We're not just going there to keep games close, or what I mean, or like maybe go 4 and out or something like that. Every tournament we go to this season, we always fully go in with the attitude and expectation to win, and so we'll be preparing the same way for that, in the coming weeks. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm excited to see how you guys do in the PAMA Invitational. You guys are going to bounce back. I know you guys are going to bounce back. You guys are going to you're going to have I think a couple of different teams at this this one. You got Epic Society is going to be there, I think,
for the NARCH finals.
No, I'm thinking for State Wars.
For State Wars. So State Wars is going to this year's State Wars is
PAMA.
Yeah, PAMA Invitational is going to be comprised of the original qualifying 8 teams, which I believe are Car Shield, Golden Knights, Roadrunners, Black Ice, LABEDA North Park, which was previous Envious Wings. It will also have Mars Blade, I believe, is in there.
Yeah.
I believe, let me see here. Who else am I missing on that? goodness gracious. I
you're,
feel like
you're not
the
missing
Skittles,
much.
the Skittles will be, I believe Skittles will be there as well.
Yeah.
As an invitation. They
Yep.
earned an invitation this year. Ringster will be there as well, earning an
Mhm.
invitation.
I think Rage Cats is another one.
Yeah, Rage Cats was another qualifying team. I think they
Yep.
rounded out the 8. So,
Yeah.
and then we took the 12th spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, no,
a lot of talent.
A lot of talent, and it's going to be fun to watch. So I know I'm excited. I know you're excited.
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
you had the 6 and under team just took second place as well, right?
Yeah, they took second place at Tours, and we were really excited about it. In fact, in many ways, I'm probably more excited about that than I've been for just about anything else. You know, like I had the good fortune of once or twice being on the bench, with the 6Us, and I got to be honest with you, like. If somebody told me, "Hey, what was your choice between coaching the pros and coaching the kids?" I'd probably just take the kids. Any day of the week. I think some of the things they say and they do out there are just the best. And it just it feels. I just feel so much better. When I would come away from that. And so I understand now why Kevin Wagner enjoys it so much. I think he's got a couple of his kids playing on that squad as well. And I think it's funny. I'll share this little tidbit with you. He sent me a video of his son, Braden, scoring his first goal ever, in tournament play. And just how excited he was, just racing around the rink and just his first goal ever, And he's so small, and I think it was great because to see that for Kev, because being a father myself, just the idea of being able to see your kid do something like that is just it doesn't get any better than that. So yeah, we're really happy with the way they won.
It really doesn't. I have a 3.5-year-old who's got his own inline skates. He's putting them on practically every day.
Yeah.
He's not skating, but let him put them on, and he'll just walk around on the carpet. So I mean, it's a good base for right now. And then with another one on the way within the next 5 weeks, she'll be here. So
fast and furious, my friend. I've got like 4 myself. I think my oldest is 9 years old. She's going on like 18. So but yeah. It's great to see them succeed in their enthusiasms, whatever it is. It's always wonderful. Especially if it happens to be hockey.
I love it when my son goes, "I can do it," and then he goes, "I need I need some help." So then you help him, and then he goes, throws his hands up, "I did it!" And it's like, but I did all of it.
Giving you life lessons.
No, Dad. Right? No, Dad, I did it. And I was just like, oh,
yeah.
And
funny.
So like he likes to race. So then today he's like, we were walking up from school, and he goes, "Wait right there," and then he just walks up the top of the stairs, and then he's like, touches the door and goes, "I win." And I was like, "Oh,
it's good stuff, right?"
I go, how are you doing that already, bro?
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. He's got some compete in him, right? So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's very driven. It's insane. Like when he started to walk, he would take a couple of steps, fall, and then crawl back to the same spot and start over from scratch. And then he would always get down on himself if he didn't make it as far as he wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been around the block with that a few times. It is pretty cool. My kid asked me, like, what's the, he's like, what's the best thing? I think it was Father's Day. What's the best thing about being a dad? And like, I remember being like, well, it's just watching you guys grow up, which, and he was like, what's the worst thing? I was like, watching you guys grow up. The double-edged sword, But,
it really is.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think it was so great for Kev. And he's out there, coaching them kids, and not to kind of come full circle, but it was always a goal of mine early on when we were starting to put the teams together. To have some sort of youth program. And for me, I think that was kind of the importance. To have some like diversity in what we were doing because, I just feel like it's so important. It's not, having a pro team is one thing, but you also need to have younger kids that in our sport can have, people you know what I mean, and role models to look up to and something to aspire to in our sport. Because otherwise, then, you know, what's the point of them playing? You know, they kind of feel like they reach a point and they're like, well, you know, where do I go with this now, right? You know, and like,
Right.
yeah. So I think, you know, having something where it's a full, you know, A to Z program is something that, you know, and we're still working on it. It's a process. You know, it takes a village, but, you know, thus far we've been really very fortunate, very happy with what we've got going. So.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
especially.
now, so you have teams all from like 6U all the way up to the pro division. How many actual teams do you guys have?
Well, it's tough. Like I said, because we've had our, how do we say, we've been spread a little thin. You know, we've had a lot of exponential growth. Like I said, we started off as a gold team. Our first year we went pretty quick into, we had a gold, a platinum team. We moved into I think we had an 8U that year. We had a 6 and under team at one point. We did a men's 35s. We did a men's 30s. We did, and then we got into the women's, you know, and, immediately started building the bones to what is now our women's pro team, you know. So along the way, we've had, you know, some projects get really propped up, you know, and some teams really kind of gain traction and kind of, you know, where you can take your hands off them and they kind of just, they're self-sustained. And we've had the other ones kind of crumble a little bit and need to be a little bit more nurtured. And so as of right now, as of this season, aside from our women's pro team, our 6U, we are taking we do have a men's 35 single A playing at Tours this weekend. And our pro team, those are right now where our areas of focus are, and we're hoping to change that next year. It just, you know, like I said, we got a few irons in the fire, so we'll see how things progress year to year, you know.
Neat. So now, what is your favorite hockey moment, memory, experience, whether it be playing, coaching, or just getting involved in the sport? So yeah.
Yeah, you know, gosh, what is my favorite moment? That's a tough one. You know, I would say my favorite moment recently was we were at or it was our first year as a pro team at the SummerSlam qualifier for the Palma Pro, and you know, chips stacked up against us, and knowing that it was an opportunity for us to do something pretty unique and special, which would be earn our way in to a tournament that's otherwise given by invitation, and to show guys that, you know, that we should be taken serious, you know, on the rink. And you know, it really did. It came down. We were in the semifinal game. They only took 2 teams, so basically the 2 teams that would be in the championship, and we were playing for that spot. Very, very tight game. It was a tie game against a team called the Few, and it was just a game that was just going back and forth, and everybody was on their toes a little bit, clenching their sticks a little tighter. And then right in the waning minutes of the game, we had actually, I believe it was an overtime we went into.
Nice.
Devin Brink makes just a tremendous steal to come down the rink, and on a 2-on-1, and elects to shoot it. Or actually, I think it was just his 2 players on the goal. He elects to shoot it, and he caught him, you know, high glove side, and just ends the game. And I mean, just the bench just uproared. Everybody kind of stormed him onto the rink, and you know, we had done something that we kind of felt like, you know, with a bunch of relatively no-name athletes, you know, just average Joes, right?
Yeah.
You know, who nobody really kind of knew you know, all that much. And that's something we kind of felt was pretty special. And so that one is I always keep that one in the pocket. Especially when, you know, we're coming back from weekends like Tours where, you know, maybe we'll kind of hang our heads a little bit, or, you know, not the outcome we were looking for and the result. I try to remind the boys that, hey, you know, it's a roller coaster, you know, it's a wave, so to speak, you know, we got to ride it, you know. Some days we're going to ride it all the way out. Sometimes we're just going to get crushed by that wave, but we got to just keep going, you know, good things are yet to come. But I think that one probably most special so far.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, we're just about out of time. I want to thank Ken Maese for taking the time to chat with us here on the GCH podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Thanks, Ben.